Hello again, it's me Chaz back with another video, and this is the last group video, Group 4, Group D of the 1930 World Cup. So I'm going to head up to the Gran Parque Central for one final time to discuss the two matches that took place in that group. One of the matches in that group was also one of the first games to ever be played at the World Cup. That was the match between the USA and Belgium. And the other game that took place was between the USA and Paraguay. The Group D, or Group 4, had three teams in, just mentioned them, USA, Belgium and Paraguay. Also, other than the fact that this group had simultaneously one of the first games to ever be played at the World Cup, also the first hat-trick ever scored at a World Cup was in this group, was in the Gran Parque Central. It was by a player from the USA, Nude, against Paraguay, scored a hat-trick, and that's the first ever time a hat-trick was ever scored at the World Cup, and in the very first World Cup. So I'm on my way to there as well. The final game was played between Paraguay and Belgium in the Estadio Central. So I'm going to head there after I go to the Gran Parque Centrals for one last time, as I mentioned. So can't wait. This is the last of the groups videos I'm going to do. After that, we're straight to the semi-finals and of course the finals. So can't wait. Heading there now. So thanks again and bye.
Alright, I'm finally here again for one last time. I think there's a little outline there on the back of me, but yeah, I'm here again at the Gran Parque Central to do one final video. This is Group D's video, so Group D, the group in Group D. Sorry, I'm gonna move ahead actually. I only just realised I need to start slow down walking so the camera ain't all shaky. My goodness, I'm so slow. Anyway, Group D had the USA, Paraguay and Belgium in it. So one team from the CONCACAF, one team from the CONMEBOL and one team from UEFA. At the time, the only one of those federations that existed was the CONMEBOL. So, yeah, it's interesting enough. The USA didn't have as long a trip as Belgium. Belgium was convinced by the vice president of FIFA at the time to make the journey. So, you know, there was 4 teams from UEFA to compete at the first World Cup, and they were one of them. Anyway, the very first game that took place in Group 4, Group D, was between Belgium and the USA. I mentioned in other videos, this was simultaneously one of the first games to be played at the World Cup, along with the game between France and Mexico, which took place in the Estadio Poquitas. So this game between Belgium and the USA, Belgium lost 3-0 to the United States. McGee became the USA's very first goal scorer at the World Cup in their 3-0 win over Belgium. And because Belgium failed to score, the USA are also the first nation to ever keep a clean sheet at the World Cup. Alright, so yeah, that's a great achievement for them there. Maybe a little, I don't know if that would have been a bit of a surprise. Actually, I think it would have been, because though I'm sure it's a different team, Belgium did win the Olympic Games at football back in, I think it was 1920. So yeah, so because of that win, the USA was top of Group D. Right, a second. Kind of wanted to film the rest of the Group 4 video when I'm kind of a bit more inside of building. The next game though was between the USA and Paraguay. So yeah, I'm gonna try and get a bit more inside the building and in the stadium and try and record that. Okay, just trying not to film this. But yeah, this is the last time I'm going to come around this area, but this one's been quite calm area as well. It's not been match day though, so match day I'm sure it's going to be different. Well, I mean calm in a good way though, you know. Anyway, I'll record a bit more later. You know what, let me film round about this part, because I actually didn't film this part of the stadium when I was here the last couple of times. Let me film it. And then I'll go back into the entrance 4. So I'm walking fast again, my apologies. But yeah, I might as well mention that game between I should. Okay, so the next game was Paraguay took on the USA, and another win for the USA. This time again, they won by 3-0 again. It was 2 great results. But the crazy thing that happens in this match was, actually I think I did film here the other day. The USA had the very first player to score a hat-trick at the World Cup. Pentanud, he scored a hat-trick in the game against Paraguay, and again that made him the USA's first ever player to get a hat-trick, and also makes him the first player to ever get a hat-trick. It was disputed for a long time though, it was, but you know, it finally went down. FIFA recognises it, so it's another good achievement for the USA. And because of these 2 wins back to back, regardless of what happened in the game between Belgium and Paraguay in the Estadio Central, where Paraguay did win that one, I believe that was a 1-0 victory, but regardless of that, the USA went through to the semi-finals, making them the first nation from the CONCACAF from North America to reach the semi-finals of the World Cup, and they're the only ones that has ever achieved that. No other nation from the CONCACAF since 1930 has reached the semi-final of a World Cup. There's been some teams that have come close. Mexico reached quite a few quarterfinals. I believe the most recent team, and they were phenomenal in the 2014 World Cup. I know the team because of the fact that they were in the same group as England, Uruguay, are funny enough as well, and Italy. That was Costa Rica. Costa Rica's 2014 World Cup performance is probably the best, other than the USA's reaching the semi-finals. They reached the quarter-finals and got knocked out by Netherlands only on penalties. So that's the only other team that's from the CONCACAF that's ever came close to lifting the World Cup. But yes, let's go back to the USA though. Still, you know, it was a great achievement for the USA to reach a semi-final, and that being the first nation from the CONCACAF to do that. And even though, again, I'm not really into football for the most part, I think these days it's kind of changed a bit more. They're definitely more into it. They're going to host the 2026 World Cup as well, co-hosting it with Mexico and Canada. You know, this will be the second time they've hosted it as well. Hosted it again in '94. But yeah, good achievement from the USA in this World Cup, reaching the semi-finals where they took on Argentina. So yeah, got one more game to mention, and that will be at the Estadio Gran Rio. So I'll talk about that game in a bit. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty fun. Alright, I'm gonna go now. Probably gonna get some lunch here again and talk about. So head to the Estadio Gran Rio and discuss the last game. Anyway, bye. Even Parque Central for the final time. I really do enjoy this stadium. It's a quality stadium. The staff are great, you know. So it's brilliant here. It's absolutely brilliant here. But yeah, almost gonna call it a day, at least at this point. Got one more stop, another trip to the Centenario. Not one last trip. I've got about 2 more trips that I'm gonna make to go up there. But this is quality, man. Yeah. Alright. Bye. Alright. We're calling the last group game, I guess. Group D. The last match took place here. Once again, in the Estadio. Go into the museum. I have to come in here early tomorrow and see if I can get into the museum. And hopefully I can try and get tickets as well. I don't know. Because there is a game, big game taking place on Sunday here. So, you know, need to try and get tickets there. Anyway, Group D. So the final game in Group D, which was, to be fair, it was a nothing match between Paraguay and Belgium. Both nations were knocked out because they both lost back-to-back to the USA, who were the group winners after 2 3-0 wins. So good results for them there. So yeah, I believe Paraguay did beat Belgium by a 0-0. Vargas Pena became Paraguay's very first goal scorer at a World Cup. So yeah, even though both teams got knocked out, Paraguay did get a point, making them second in the group. So the USA topped Group D, Group 4 with 4 points. Paraguay came second with 2, and Belgium bottom of that group with 0 points. Yeah, so with that, the USA became the first team from the CONCACAF to reach the semi-finals. So then the semi-finals looked like Argentina took on the USA and Uruguay, the host, took on Yugoslavia. I'll discuss those semi-final matches tomorrow. Yeah, I'll discuss them tomorrow as well as the final. So I will come here one more time, maybe 2 more times if I do somehow manage to find a way to get a ticket for the match taking place on Sunday here. Hopefully I can. But yeah, this was the first World Cup with group stages. The next 2 World Cups after this one don't have groups. Just straight up knockout competitions, the 1934 and 38 World Cup. And the 1950 World Cup, on the other hand, only had group stages. Yeah. But yeah, outside of 34 and 38, all the other World Cups do have group stages. It's the key thing. What I heard, that if the three nations that didn't pull out of the competition, so originally it was supposed to be a 60 nations competing. The original format was going to be straight out knockout competition, like the 34 and 38 would become. And but because of some nations dropped out, I believe the three nations that dropped out was Thailand, Japan, and Egypt. Egypt's issue was different from Japan and Thailand. Japan and Thailand, that travel would have been even longer, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that travel would have been even longer for Japan and Thailand. But they pulled out for a reason. And Egypt, on the other hand, was because of the Mediterranean Sea. There was a storm took place there, and basically Egypt missed their ship, so they couldn't compete. Egypt do compete in the next World Cup in 1934. Japan, on the other hand, didn't compete at the World Cup till 1998, and they did host 2002. We've co-hosted it with South Korea. And Thailand, on the other hand, have never qualified for a World Cup, and currently they can't qualify for this one either. They got knocked out in the second round. Anyway, that's a little thing about a couple of nations that could have become part of the original 13. There's other nations that declined it. A lot of the European teams, such as Italy, declined. The home nations, England, at the time was England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales. They declined it. The FA declined. So, yeah. But still, those 30 nations that did all compete, the ones, especially the ones that made the long travels and all that, they're the reason, all of those players, they became a part of history, a part of football history, and obviously they wouldn't have known it at the time, but they're all legends. Every one of them that played. So yeah, and the managers as well. Anyway, this is done. I said this is Group 4's last video, and this is the last group video I'm going to do. Next, my focus is going to be on the semi-finals and, of course, the finals that all took place here in the Estadio Centenario. So, yeah, it's going to be a good one. Hopefully, I'm going to try and make it inside, because that would make so much more sense. I kind of wanted to do that. Like, all the group stages kind of be on the outside a bit, and then when it came to the semi-finals and the finals, try and film inside. So hopefully I could do that. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and bye.